Hashtag we try to tell you. Remember when the Trump people were saying, oh no, we're only going after the illegals. Guess what? They now want to go after people who are already U.S. citizens. A new Justice Department memo reveals that federal attorneys have been instructed to prioritize denaturalization cases targeting naturalized citizens accused of offenses such as fraud, national security violations, or even errors on old immigration forms. Folks, we're talking up to 25 million Americans who were born abroad now facing the possibility of losing their citizenship and being deported to wherever. Now, these aren't criminal trials, which means there's no guarantee to a lawyer, and the government doesn't have to meet the same high burden of proof. Now, I think Carolyn Levitt even made this comment. They even are saying, well, you know what? Hey, I think, and we remember Andy Ogles, congressman from Arizona, that racist. Remember, he tweeted last week that the United States should go after Zoran Mamdani, of course, who was the Democratic primary for New York City mayor, and take his citizenship. Hello? Did I not tell y'all in my book, White Fear, what was going on here? That the Great Replacement Theory and all this sort of, didn't I tell y'all what these people, y'all, this is the book. The cover of the book is a photo of a white man on January 6, 2021. And this is me saying, the caption is, all of this is ours. All of this is ours. They cannot stand black or brown people. That's what's going on here. And folks who have been sitting around, I think you're wrong. No, I'm telling y'all, if you want to think the worst of these people, do so. Because that's what they're doing. They are executing a playback that they made clear. And Michael, the leader, Stephen Miller, that virulent white nationalist who's driving this whole strategy.
And Stephen Miller was in Trump's first administration. He's deputy chief of staff again. Stephen Miller he's the one who crafted the attack on the immigrants as well, cracking down on them. The report came out that in May, he told ICE that Homeland Security that they had to increase the number of people arrested to 3,000 per day, something crazy like this. Okay, and what African Americans have to understand is that they're coming for all of us. Okay, and unfortunately, many of us think that our proximity to white supremacy protects us from white supremacy. No, it does not. This is about the fear of the browning of America. And we see this increasing day after day. And then when you read this piece from The Guardian, this is intensifying it. Trump's Justice Department issues directive to strip naturalized Americans of citizenship for criminal offenses. This makes it easier to do this and deport them, send them to prisons to a third country as well. And what happens if you study Nazi Germany? Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, they targeted marginalized groups. They targeted the disabled people. They targeted LGBTQ. They targeted Afro-Germans. You go after small marginalized groups first and test certain methods out. Then you expand that to other groups. This is what's taking place right now. This is straight out of Project 2025.
Of course, and that's their playbook. That's what they're running. And I'm telling, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing here. That people are not getting. And Bill Moyers just died. Bill Moyers, of course, he worked for President Lyndon Baines Johnson, and he also was a reporter. And Larry, as a result of his work, we now have that quote from LBJ when he talked about the poor, and when he talked about the poor white men. And that quote is important because we're seeing it play out right now. We're seeing how these people think. We're seeing how their brains operate. And what LBJ said was, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. That is what Republicans are executing the strategy. They're executing that right now. And these folks in rural America, y'all about to get screwed.
Yeah, reckoning is coming. And as it relates to that particular quote, there's a lot of talk about Project 2025 written by the Heritage Foundation the last several months leading to election. People, the current president, among other people, denying, no, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Look over here, like the Wizard of Oz, right? Look over here. Why, I distract you with something else that's going over here. And their pockets are about to be picked. You voted for your own destruction, which, is really consistent. We've seen over the last several, decades in terms of voting patterns, particularly for white males. So, but it's one of these situations, and, my colleague talked about U.S. history, is that this country has a tendency not to learn from its own mistakes. So let me give you an example. We spend a lot of talk about the 14th Amendment. People forget about Japanese internment camps. And so when we talk about this issue relating to denaturalizations and the essentially kind of erasure of minoritized groups, goes to this idea that as long as white males in particular feel like they are, no matter your educational background, et cetera, that they have that, they are better off in some way than you are, then they're fine with that. But they missed the point of when Trump, in terms of how he's filed bankruptcy multiple times, he's not paid laborers in New Jersey and other states over a series of decades. He doesn't care about the average working person. And that's reflected in the policies you see in his reconciliation bill, which will devastate the middle class. If you're a member of the middle class, or particularly if you're not from an underserved community, you can forget about it, because once again, this is robbing from the poor, given to the rich. And so many people, and particularly those in white, rural, underserved communities, are going to suffer along the rest of us. And by the time they look up and realize their SNAP benefits are taking, the hospitals are closed, it's going to be too late, because the Republicans are making it clear that this bill is going to, like my colleague said, this bill is going to become law in some form or fashion. But the bottom line is, it's too late. The die is set, and now we all have to pay.
Hopefully you learned a lot. This is a post that I did a few years ago dealing with Juneteenth, because after the death, after George Floyd was murdered May 25th, 2020, that next month, Juneteenth was celebrated, and a lot of people learned about Juneteenth. A lot of African Americans learned about it who really didn't know about it, especially up north, because we were dealing with COVID. A lot of people were home, and Juneteenth took on a new meaning. I did this post on Facebook. I said reparations, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, voting rights, etc., are all connected to Juneteenth and the history of what happened after the Civil War. Okay, America needs a massive history lesson. So happy Juneteenth, happy Texas Emancipation Day, Jubilee Day, Freedom Day, and the fight continues. Hopefully you learned a lot from this presentation. You can support the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App. Visit my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and just scroll down the page. We have information. We have my bundle pack of my lectures, 15 DVD bundle pack, and it's in digital download format. African History Awakens the African Mind for Mental Depth. But also you can register for my online classes that I teach as well, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. You can download the lesson plan here. I do that on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we also have my PayPal and Cash App information here. Okay. So this helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, and you can click on the link here. This is our Cash App account, $ the AHN show. It'll say Michael. It'll probably show my picture there. These other ones are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. They've been stealing money from us. I'm still trying to get them shut down. When you click on our link here, this is our QR code for Cash App as well. So you can scan that if you want to support us. We definitely need the support that helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, etc. And then also for PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. All right. Well, look, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behaviors, not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time. Peace. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for the birthday wishes as well. Okay. I guess 54 years went by quickly, I guess. So I don't feel any different today. I've lost, 35 pounds in the last couple of years, so I can fit back in the clothes I haven't been able to fit back into in years. I worked out this morning, so I'm staying in shape. Okay. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.